Let me ask you something a little unusual. What if your doctor said you want to live longer? Be more intimate, with tenderness, with intention, with real connection. Not the kind of advice you usually get at a checkup, right? But emerging research suggests that physical intimacy, yes, even well into our 60s, 70s, and beyond, can be a surprising factor in longevity for both men and women. Now, this isn't about performance. It's about connection, circulation, closeness, and even joy. In one study published in the American Journal of Medicine, older adults who remained sexually active and emotionally connected to their partners showed better heart health, reduced stress markers, and even improved memory recall. So no, this isn't just locker room talk. This is real science. And it's an invitation to rethink what aging should look like. Welcome to Wisdom for the Elders, the channel where we embrace aging with knowledge, confidence, and a positive mindset. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and join our wonderful community of lifelong learners. I once met a couple while traveling in southern Italy. Gerald was 74, Maura was 70, and they had this spark that could light up the whole piazza. You could feel the affection between them, the way they held hands, laughed easily, and made eye contact like newlyweds. Over coffee, Gerald told me, we made a pact when we turned 65, never stop being curious about each other. And that curiosity, it included physical affection. They spoke openly about touch, about keeping that part of their relationship alive not out of duty, but because it made them feel grounded, alive. We don't move like we used to, Maura joked, but we still make each other feel seen. Intimacy at this age becomes less about frequency and more about intention. It's not about the act alone. It's about the emotional safety it builds. And that emotional safety? It supports everything from sleep to immune function. Here's the twist most people never expect. When older adults are emotionally and physically intimate with their partners, the benefits aren't just psychological. They can be biological. Studies have linked affectionate relationships to lowered cortisol levels, reduced inflammation, and even a decreased risk of cardiovascular disease. And for both women and men, that kind of trust and closeness helps reduce feelings of isolation, a silent risk factor for everything from depression to early mortality. Here's what makes it even more powerful. When that intimacy is mutual, respectful, and joyful, it creates a feedback loop. Love calms the body. A calm body supports a longer life. So maybe the key isn't just more years in your life, but more life in your years. And maybe, just maybe, that all starts with holding someone close and meaning it. Here's the twist you might not expect. Avoidance, when conscious and intentional, isn't loss. It's gain. Saying no to the wrong people, to draining commitments, to noisy distractions, is actually saying yes to something else, to serenity, to authenticity, to your own voice. We often view aging through the lens of what we leave behind, but maybe, just maybe, the deeper beauty lies in what we finally feel free to claim. The comfort of our own company, the joy of watching the world without needing to narrate it, the freedom to explore new places with no one else's timeline dictating our pace. And the most beautiful part? When you say no with grace, you make space. space for laughter shared with a kindred spirit, for mornings that start slowly, for sunsets that stretch without conversation and still feel full. So, if you're avoiding more people these days, don't worry. You're not becoming less. You're becoming more you. Sometimes long-term relationships settle into patterns. That's natural. But intimacy invites us to stay curious, even after decades. What does your partner still dream about? What touches do they miss but no longer ask for? What makes them feel safe today that maybe didn't matter 10 years ago? I met a woman in Oaxaca who told me she and her husband, married 42 years, started asking each other newlywed questions again every Friday night. It feels silly, she said, but it helps us remember who we're still becoming. That kind of emotional intimacy, the willingness to be seen again and to see your partner anew, fuels the physical connection. It keeps it warm, honest, alive. And for many couples, this becomes the secret to longevity. Not just living longer, but feeling loved longer. Here's one more twist. Intimacy doesn't always require a partner. Some people find themselves aging solo, by choice, by circumstance, or by loss. And still, the need for closeness, for touch, for connection remains. Self-intimacy matters. Friendships matter. Even learning to travel alone, sleep deeply in your own arms, nurture your body with the same kindness you'd offer a beloved partner. This is intimacy too. A retired teacher I met in Kyoto told me, "When I stopped looking for someone to hold me, I learned how to hold myself. And somehow, I don't feel alone anymore." Whether with someone or within yourself, closeness adds richness to life. It reminds us that we're still here, still feeling, still capable of joy. And maybe that's the most powerful medicine of all.